Hi there, Christy Chadwick with CLC Healing Therapies. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about mindset and how you can overcome the negative chaos that you have in your brain and your mind. With everything that's been happening lately, I know how easy it is to get sucked into a rabbit hole and focus on such negativity and how difficult it can be to come out of that, especially if you're home, you're not working, you're not seeing your friends or your family. I know how lonely it can be, even if you have your immediate family, a spouse or your parents or your kids. This is certainly a trying time. Last night I found myself in a rabbit hole and I was watching a docuseries and it was extremely upsetting. So much so that I was physically shaking and struck with such fear and panic and disgust and anger and hate. Like, you name the negative emotion, I was in it. And I started to shake and I had tears in my eyes, and I knew I needed to get out of that state because continuing to watch it would have done nothing for the situation itself or myself. I was putting myself in a very vulnerable position that I couldn't get out of because there was nothing I can do. I had no control over what was happening on the other side of my screen. So I knew if I continued to watch what I was watching, that it would wreak havoc on my body and my mind and my spirit. And I was going to bed shortly thereafter. And believe me when I tell you, the last thing that you need before you go to bed is negative images, because that will create nightmares, bad dreams, poor sleep, and then your body needs rest in order to heal itself. So when you go to bed at night, that's your body's reset time. That's when your body goes into a state of healing. When you rest, you heal most of the time. So you don't want to go to bed with negativity. You just don't want to do it. So you need to find tools that help you get to sleep in a positive state of mind, not a negative one. So I'm sure if you follow me, you know that I use essential oils. I use them all the time. I use them in every aspect of life. Last night, when I found myself in this majorly uncomfortable darkness, I put the phone down, I reached over, I grabbed the first bottle of oil that I could get my hands on. It happened to be Valor, which in this case is the perfect blend. Valor was created to instill courage and strength and veracity, and it is very calming. And over the years, about 20 something years ago, I guess, I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression and anxiety disorder. So over the years, I have found tools that have helped me through it, and my essential oils are one of those tools. Now, you need a lot of tools because sometimes one tool doesn't work in the moment and you need another tool. And then sometimes when you combine two tools together, it has such a profound effect. So what works for me might not work for you today, but it might tomorrow. So as long as what you're using has no harm to your body or to others, of course, there's no harm in trying them and continually to try them. And quite often, when you try something once, it doesn't always work great the first time. And especially when it comes to mindset work, which I'm going to go into a smidgen, that takes practice, it takes study, it takes effort. Doing mindset work does not just boom, change your life. Not how it happens. It's not instantaneous. It's not one size fits all. You have to find what works for you and then go back to it if it doesn't. So I got this book, Working with the Law by Raymond Holliwell. I think I got it like 2 years ago. I'm not sure. But the first time I read it, I was like, what in the world did I just read? It made no sense. It made a little bit of sense. But like, if there are 10,000 words here, maybe 20 made sense to me. But over the years, I go back to the book. It's not something that you have to read front to back. I did that the first time. I don't do it anymore. Now, quite often, I either find the chapter that interests me the most, or I fan whatever I open up to is what I read. You can tell I've highlighted or underlined, and then I have all different colors in here. Here we have some red and some green. All that means is that the day that I opened the book, I had a different color pen. But what I wanted to share with you, of course, I lost my page. Here it is something that helped me through yesterday's darkness. And it says, as long as we allow things to seem real to us, we are putting our energy into it. We are nurturing it. We are feeding it. We are keeping it alive. We are putting our faith into that thing, whether we like it or not, and it must naturally grow. For the law of growth is ever working to produce whatever seed we plant. So, this can have a gazillion meanings. But for me, last night, the thoughts I had in my mind were awful, just God awful. I needed to shift my focus. So I grabbed my Valor oil. I put a couple drops on my hands. I rubbed it on my neck and my chest, and then I smelled my hands. And I kept repeating to myself, fear over faith, fear over faith. And I did it rapidly. I just kept it going because the images were still in my head of the nasty. So I just kept going over and over and over again, fear over faith, fear over faith. And then something really cool happened. As I was consciously saying that, subconsciously, I was hearing these other positive thoughts. And they just rambled off my tongue in my head. I didn't speak them out loud, but they just were coming at me in waves. And it was like, God is good, good over evil, all will work out well. I am safe. I am loved. I am happy. My family is safe. And like all of these other things were pouring into my mind. And consciously, I thought, you go, subconscious. Like, it was excellent. Now, there was a couple of times, so I'm just going to say that for 5 minutes, my mind, I was focused on the words. Within that 5-minute time frame, in the beginning minute, perhaps, the images of the negative were perhaps 20 seconds of that 60 seconds, or maybe 30 seconds. And then as the minutes went on, the negative images and thoughts subsided because I was so focused on the positive stuff. I felt a physical change in my body, in my chest, in my breathing. I didn't have that fear or panic anymore. I didn't have that anger. And somehow, at some point, I drifted off to sleep. I don't know how long it actually had been. It could have been 10 minutes. It could have been 5. It could have been 20. I honestly don't know because I did not look at the clock. But I know that I fell asleep in a positive state because I had no negative dreams. Not one. When I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh, it's morning. I'm like, okay, I slept pretty good. Then my mind went back to what I was watching. And I was like, no, there's nothing I could do right now about that. That cannot be a part of my light, a part of my mind, a part of me today. And I remembered this passage and many others, that what you think about grows. It comes to fruition. So when it comes to fear, when you put fear in the hands of people, that fear just breeds, right? When you are watching something that's fear, that's meant to put fear in you, most likely you're going to feel that fear. What you do with that fear changes from person to person and perhaps situation to situation. Fear is a good thing because it's our body's way or our spirit's way of telling us that there could be danger coming. So it keeps us safe, right? When you sit in that fear is when it's not good for you. You feel the fear, you analyze it, you say, what's really happening here? And then you move forward. Because if you don't move forward, you're stuck in that fear, and then you're just attracting more of what you're sitting in. So I knew that I needed to get out of it. So then when I woke up in the morning, I always do my gratitude journal in the morning, and I sit in gratitude and I just kind of feel what I'm grateful for. And then I got this book right back out. I read the first 2 chapters again. So the first chapter is working with the law. So it just kind of tells you about it, you know. And then the next chapter is the law of thinking. So they're really short chapters. It's a really short book, really, that I highly recommend. And if you open it up and you're like, what in the world is this about? I feel you. I was right there. Give it a little time. Go back to it on occasion. Leave it in the bathroom. It's a great place for this book, with a pen. And underline what speaks to you. And work on your mindset. We can get through absolutely anything that we set our mind to. If you could think it, you can do it, you can have it, and you can bring it to fruition. So if you have any questions, if you want to chat about this, send me a message, send me an email, call me. I don't really care. Let's have the conversation and let's see what we can do to have people shift their mindset and work in harmony with all of God's laws. Have a great day.